Happy New Year, Warriors. And as the Dallas Cowboy quarterback, Dak Prescott, says, here we go. Who's ready? How you doing, Simon? Thank you very much. Same to you. Michael, Sinatra, James, Brand, yes, I'll lead you. Kman's around. Ryan Varghese, welcome to F.A.C.E. AJ, Kurt B, Happy New Year. Okay, Brand was born ready. So let's see how the team is, what they're thinking here.
Happy New Year, Coach. Happy New Year,
Happy,
everybody.
Happy New Year, K-Man. How are you? And Happy New Year, Blake. And Happy New Year, Steve. Team, dollar off to a
Happy
good
New
start.
Year.
Happy New Year, bro. So dollar up, this level held, just took it out intraday. And dollar looks good to me. I couldn't fade the dollar. I talked about last week looking for fib retracements on this move, and my best guess is 61.8 back in the next few weeks. Where your head's at?
Could well be, Coach. Could well be. And Happy New Year, Blake. Happy New Year to everybody. May the gods of the markets be with us in 2024.
Yes, I'll take it.
Yes, I'm not going to disagree. I think we're undoing the end of year flows a bit. People are taking the positions back. We see it in the equity markets. We see it in the dollar. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree. I bought some dollar Swiss calls end of last week. Bought a bit of dollar yen as well, which I've started to manage.
Well,
and yeah, I think there is a case if the yields are playing ball and undoing some of the
looks like they are today.
Pendulum swing, and they are actually showing signs.
9 bips.
Yep. If we can get above 4, then 410, there may be a bit more in this dollar rally in January. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree at all.
Do you have any targets in the yen on the upside?
Already a high 142s is one.
Okay. Did we get here? 46.
I think your 144.5, 145 is going to be a big level if we get there.
Okay.
If that breaks, actually, I don't think we'll stop at 146, but I'm not sure it will first attempt, because we do have Bank of Japan coming up third week or so of January, and as we know, speculators will like to speculate a little bit. So I think 145 around there is going to be a tough nut to crack.
Can you put your finger on risk off this morning? Was it the Iran sending ships into the Red Sea? What was it?
There's a couple of things going on this morning. There's that.
Happy New Year, Bulls.
There's the renewed Ukraine-Russia thing. And then we had a couple of people downgrading Apple, downgrading Airbus also. Was it Airbus or Boeing?
Who were they have to send them some cash? Downgrades on it. Anyway, or at least say thank you.
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly. But you know, I also think it's the balloon losing a bit of air. You know, the end of year balloon losing a bit of air. Nothing more, nothing less. We had like this massive demand in Swiss franc into the year end. That should wane now as well. Hoping that Jordan will come out and say the Swiss franc is done for now. That would put a nice reversal in all things Swiss franc. I know a good few people in our room are short Swiss franc for this to happen, me included. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
I noticed Friday that the Russell put in was selling off actually. I think put in some kind of reversal week. So this is the one people are saying this is going to double. and everything. And, it looks a lot like the bonds, okay, because a lot of these were regional banks,
Mm.
make up a big part, heavily leveraged, indebted companies. So when rates came off, they had a huge relief rally, but I don't know. I wouldn't be long Russell here. It said 160 to what, 205, 45. Why can't it pull back into this zone before the next launch? And what's even weaker is this is a subset sector of it. It's a regional banks, and look at this weekly. Does it really look bullish to you? Looks to me like an ABC back to the major breakdown. Only thing that would make this look bullish was, you get a pull back in here and then you make a new high and then you'll have five. But doesn't look that bullish to me. So um, we'll see. I know a lot of people are talking 4,600 as being a likely pullback target, the breakout. I actually think we could see 44 this month.
Mm.
So yeah. So I think the first couple of weeks or so of the month is going to, until the dollar rally ends. I mean, let's think about it.
Well,
The
we'll have already short term. We'll have already tests, right? We have ISM. When is it?
Yeah.
Tomorrow. We are going to have already a labor report on
Oh yeah.
Friday. I think there's going to be enough to tell us whether we are in for a rally in the dollar start of the year, or
Yeah.
whether it's just we are undoing what parts of what we have done over the turn and over the end of the year, and then we start the real market again. I think there's going to be a lot of scrutiny on the labor market because that big domino kept standing throughout 2023. And if it continues to stand, then I reckon there's some bright days for the dollar perhaps ahead of us,
Yeah. Well, nice bear market rally, almost a retrace of, like you were saying, okay, man, back to where we were, like 107.5 in euro. I don't think it's going to go 105. Maybe it goes 107, but that's about it. I think that, this is going to be a buying opportunity in everything, just like it was in at the end of October. I mean, let's face it, it's still all one market. I mean, I see uh, a little bit of some individual strength in gold and silver that's fading now, but dollar up, everything down.
Mhm.
Dollar down, everything up.
Yeah,
That's that's still happening.
it is. It
So
is. And to
that's why I think more people should join ForexAnalytix, because I forgot who said it. Some famous guys that gets 100,000 views and stuff when he speaks, and he says if you get the dollar right, you can get everything right.
mm,
What do you think of that statement?
well, yeah, of course. I mean, it's a big one, right? It's the biggest market in the world.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, I would. Okay, I mean,
All right.
say that. I'd give me 100,000 views as well.
How about this? If you get NVIDIA right, you get to buy a new house.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh well, I mean, if you bought Bitcoin at 17
Uh,
and you sell it
yeah.
here, you can buy a house too, I guess.
Yeah, so that's the only thing. I bet that crypto guys are kind of saying, I told you so. It's, strong dollar and Bitcoin's still railing,
Yeah.
right? So, it's not a dollar hedge. I don't know what kind of hedge it is, but Brand saying 100,000.
Yeah, well. Mm.
Yeah,
I guess we are not going to get our teddy bear at $30 then, Dale.
yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't think.
was I was wrong about this, but I'll tell you what, guys, this could be a 5 if you're in it. I mean, if you're holding for life because you want an alternative asset, that's a different question. But if you're trading it, um, there you go.
You know,
It's not a sell short, but it's, take something off the table if I'm long. It's the first divergence in a while, right? Here's the last high,
hmm,
and then we move sideways.
yeah.
So anyway, just a warning. I don't think a lot of people trade crypto in here.
Well, some are perhaps, but as AJ and George says, it's a big month for Bitcoin, right?
Oh,
And
they having.
those ETF approvals.
Oh,
ETF. Yep. It's the
But you
ETF.
know what? I
oh,
mean,
the
I think there
okay.
is AI is actually helping. Artificial intelligence could actually be helping Bitcoin as well, in a way.
Do you know where I could get some
What AI?
artificial intelligence
Ah, you don't
when
need
my when
you
my
don't need
when
it.
my natural intelligence fails me? Do
Yeah,
you?
we stick to NI, natural intelligence.
All right.
Yeah.
Uh, well, Blake, hope you had a nice holiday.
It was a really nice holiday, and we topped it off yesterday with a surf and turf with the neighbors, and it was
Yeah.
yeah, it was one of those. I didn't do any cooking. I
I
just
did that too. Ate that too. This it was really the lobster was sweet.
the family loves, the surf part. I'm the turf part. So,
Yeah.
but it was great. Thank you. We had a great New Year's celebration. I hope everybody did as well. And like I said in the week ahead video, really looking forward to this year. I think this year is going to be just I think this year is going to be bunkers. I wanted to ask you guys, Kman and Dale. I mean, read a lot, you watch a lot of, read a lot of analysts. Dale, you obviously talk to a lot of people. And everybody universally, I don't think there's very many out there are very bullish equities. I think
Yeah.
I would say a majority of people that I listen to or have listened to in the last I've tried to ignore the markets as much as possible the last couple of weeks, but I still am keeping my eyes on everything and listening to what people are saying. I would say about 80% roughly
At
of the
least.
people that I've heard are expecting S&P well above 5,000.
Yes.
And that's
I'm not
a
hearing
general
any
consensus.
bearish calls from the bears. They're like quiet.
Yeah, and like I really think that equities are topping right here, and I do believe there's going to be a pullback, and I don't believe we're going to recover from that. So I actually
Oh,
think that
that's interesting.
yeah, I
Okay.
actually think that we're at the top of the range, and we're going to
All
be
right.
heading back into the range from here on out. I think it's going to be the exact opposite that we had from last year, where last year we just kind of rallied from the get go. I
Yeah.
think we're going to be selling off from the get go here, personally. But with that
Do you
being
think
said,
how deep, Blake? Well, go ahead. I was going to show my daily.
oh,
To
go,
me, no, it's
go
okay.
ahead.
Go ahead, put your daily up and kind of give
Well,
us an
show me your
idea.
chart really quick.
Okay.
Show me
Okay.
your charts.
Blake, Happy New Year, but keep it sensible. Show me
Right.
mine.
All right.
Show me your. Never mind.
Around here, Blake, 44.
Around the 200 DMA. I mean, I think that that's
Yeah,
all doable. I think that I'm. It's hard to like say, oh well, this is going to be the year
quickly.
where we see this or that. It all depends on economic data. I'm a firm believer that economic data is going to start to slow this year, and it's going to really start to bite. And we're going to see it in earnings, and we're going to see the slowdown that I think everything that was just pushed back,
Yeah.
quite a bit. So, um, from an economic data standpoint, which makes me more of a dollar bull than probably most, and I think a lot of people are like you said a little bit earlier, Dale, you're like, oh, I see the euro back at 10, 107 as being a buying opportunity. I really
Yeah.
see the euro, closer to parity. And
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I think it is a buying opportunity. But I think that this is the year where you're going to see also if you see weakness in the US economy, I think you're going to see more weakness in other economies. And this is where the US exceptionalism is going to come back. And that is that's kind of where I stand right now. Anyway, the reason why I say that is because I think the market is overly bullish up at these levels. Now, whether I'm right going into this year or not, it really it's hard to call, and I think it's foolish to try to make those calls. Although everybody does it, and you have an expectation or a thesis that you trade around, but things change. I mean, we are going to have obviously our opinions change over the course of the next 12 months. Like, it's
Look at this,
nobody's
bro,
business.
on the
What's that?
weekly. I know it got over 80, NASDAQ 100, but even going back to the historic highs, but against these two highs, pretty good divergence
Yeah,
on the
everything's got
weekly.
divergence. Everything,
Yeah,
every chart. Like
there's S&Ps.
that automatically tells us that we're at our highs right now. Whether it sticks, that's the next question, right? That's like most people will say, "Oh, well, we're going to 5,000. We ain't going to go this week, but we're going this month, this quarter, this month, whatever
Yeah,
the case may be."
yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So now you could have
So,
the charts.
and anyway, here I'll take over the charts from
Oh,
here.
look
But
at copper, and copper's getting hit. So anyway,
yeah, again, I really think this is the year where we're going to start to see economic data, really start to bite. And somebody just said just moments ago about the election. I'm sorry, AJ
oh,
said
forgot about that.
about the elections. Yeah, the elections are going to be front and center. And I had mentioned this on the week ahead video. I talked about not only the US elections, but the Taiwanese
Well, that's a big one.
elections. Yeah, that's going to be a real big one because of the current and Kman, this because which one of your children are in Taiwan right now?
No, oh, I've got my son in Japan and my daughter-in-law is still in Taiwan, but she will be joining him very soon.
Good. So, because the current government does not want Chinese rule. Then there's two oppositions that are coming up that are more China friendly, if you will. And then you got the US election. So that who gets elected here, whether it's Biden or Trump, and we all have to face the reality that it really could be a Trump presidency, and he is obviously anti-China. And so it's going to
Yes.
be a really, really interesting
Well,
2024.
Xi said, I saw a quote that this election is about peace or war. If they elect a non-reunification president, he's saying it's almost like a declaration of war. So
So, and Xi also
doesn't mean
says
he'll do it
he
on the
wants
14th, but
he wants his forces ready for invasion by the 2027. So,
uh,
it's going to be a really, really, really volatile year. And somebody said it earlier. George says price for perfection. Yeah, these markets are. And I think there's a lot of issues, ahead that we're going to be dealing with. Anyway, so with the S&P, I thought, just going back to like a weekly chart, let's just kind of pull it up. I thought we'd be in a long-term, triangle. That doesn't mean we can't be in a long-term consolidation right now, especially if these highs hold. I would assume that we're maybe in a, longer term, maybe a bullish wedge, or maybe it's just a range where we see the upper end of the range and we see the lower end of the range. So for me to go, well, yeah, my target's going to be the 200 DMA down here, 4100. I don't think that's realistic for me to try to make those type of targets. I just think that we are in a long-term consolidation after a huge party globally of loose monetary policy globally for so many years that the market's got to work off that. And that's why I think that we're going to have years of range bound activity. That's why I'm sure as hell I ain't chasing the markets up at these levels. Can we reach new highs? Yeah, I'm going to be looking to fade it. And I think that you have, you know, the Nasdaq 100's already showing you the false breakout. The Dow just, you know, hit the 161% extension. This could give us a false breakout. Russell 2000, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, the Russell's going to outperform." I think I listened to Tom Lee from
Yeah,
Fundstrat, which
doubled.
by the way, he was
He
right.
said, yeah. Well,
Go
not
ahead.
until the last couple months bailed out all the bulls.
Well, yeah, but yeah, exactly. But he thinks that, you know, the S&P is going to be somewhat flat and the Russell 2000 is going to be up 20%. Look, I am absolutely 100% a non-believer of that. If the Russell 2000 has underperformed over the last couple of years, if the markets get hit and we see a recession this year, which I believe we're going to see, the Russell 2000 is going to get absolutely spanked. And I think the Russell 2000 is going to underperform the rest of the market. I think you're going to see us either at lows or at maybe even fresh lows in the Russell 2000, where the S&P might do this, you know, back down to the 200. Let's just say you're right, Dale, and we get to the 200 DMA sometime, you know, first couple of months or, you know, first half of this year, whatever the case may be. The Russell 2000 is going to get smashed. I think it's going to get absolutely creamed. But that's, you know, again, my opinion is not that of everybody else. And I guess that's the point I'm trying to make is I'm not in that camp at all. And that therefore that also puts, you know, the dollar for me, I think the dollar is going to be, you know, trading back up at 110 before we head lower somewhere.
Wow.
There. Yeah. So,
okay.
And you know, it sucks. I'm, you know, I got up this morning and I looked at the euro and I'm like, damn it. I covered it last night. I was short at 111 and I covered it last night because we were having dinner and I didn't want to have to deal with it. You know, we were, you know, with our neighbors and whatnot. And yeah, the euro was like about 60 pips lower this morning. I'm like, damn it. Damn, I, you know, pulled it off way too early. But I am looking to sell euros on rallies if we can get it. And I think the dollar is going to rally. And, you know, Kman, I want to get your opinion here. And I'm really, and I said this in the week ahead video, I'm a dollar yen bull right now. Overall, I think the dollar yen is going to be the trade, the consensus trade. I think is going to be right. I think the, you know, yen strength by, you know, sometime this year is going to be, you know, the place to be. I want to be short dollar yen on any move into the high 140s, but I think we go higher near term. What are your thoughts here with the dollar yen?
To me, first of all, let me come back to what you said, and I am for equal parts between the surf and turf, by the way, because you,
as is most of everybody else that was eating last night. Yeah, but good to know.
I'm for equal parts. Keep the balance. No, I think you're right. I think we are going to a lot of people again. Last year, people were already saying it's going to be the year of the yen, but then Ueda is a much slower mover than people were expecting. Nevertheless, the dollar yen came back down. The yen crosses are still higher than where they were this time last year. So I think that may still be a factor before we go into the Japanese fiscal year end. And I think because the Japanese fiscal year end is going to coincide with probably Bank of Japan starting to really normalize. There's people thinking that they may abandon YCC this meeting around 22nd or 23rd of January, because there is no stress in the system. There is also the yields are coming off elsewhere, so they could abandon it without creating too much waves. But we know how the market will react to that, at least for a short period of time. But I think the big period will come around the end of fiscal year, end of March, into May, June, because that is where the Bank of Japan should normalize and the other central banks start to cut rates, or at least firmly talk about cutting rates. So there we could have a move, medium-term move upwards in the yen. But I'm going to stick my neck out. By the end of 2024, dollar yen trades higher than where we are now.
By the end of 22, really? So you're gonna you think we're gonna be higher than where we're at right now
Yeah,
at the end of
I think
2024? That's
so.
interesting.
I think so
I
because the others are never going to lower to where the Japanese rates are.
yeah,
And
true.
unless, okay, there's always a caveat to or a disclaimer to attach to that, unless
Sure.
the rest of the world falls apart around it. But I think the rest of the world will not see deep recessions, but muddle on, in a way. And you're still going to be looking at rate differentials against the yen in a more medium term. So yeah,
I think that's a great point, and muddle along is a perfect way to describe how I feel about the global economy. I don't want anybody to misinterpret what I said earlier because I do feel like you. I don't feel like we're going to implode or anything like that.
yeah.
I think we're going to have some slightly negative GDP back-to-back GDP prints
Mm,
that are going to be like, our economies are not growing. And, and I don't know if that's going to warrant cuts where, the market, and I still think that's why the market is too aggressive in their Fed funds
I
rate,
agree.
pricing where, I think we're going to have sticky inflation. I still think prices are going to be high. You're going to have, crude oil that's probably back in the 80s, and it's going to be tough for central banks to really cut too aggressively. So,
Yeah.
The market, what's more important in the market than our P&Ls or, what the market does, like right now, but what the market is doing in the summer into the fall will determine the outcome of the election.
Mm.
If we're
well,
selling
Oh,
off, if we have a low correction here and we make new highs in the first quarter and the market starts getting pressured into the summer, that's not a good sign for the incumbent who's under threat anyway, or who knows if he's going to run. But that would be an open door for the Republican nominee, in my
yeah.
view.
Well, it's going to be an interesting. I think it's going to be a super interesting year, and
yeah, I think
I just wish here in the U.S. that we'd find like two nominees that were just a little younger, like by 20 years. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't foresee that being possible.
yeah,
Isn't it crazy? I mean, you guys is Dale or Kman, like you guys across the pond are probably like, the hell's going on over there? I mean, we ask that question all the time. I mean, with what's happening in the UK, you guys might actually have an election soon too, right?
yeah. I mean, I think that's what I was going to say. I think this year, and I don't want to. I don't want to be a doomsayer also, but this year may again be quite complicated because how much? 42, 43 elections around the
Yeah,
globe,
yeah,
2024. It's everywhere. I mean, you go from, I think in is it in Holland as well? I mean, there's plenty in Europe as well, or on the continent as well. It's all over the place, you know. And yes, I mean, if you concentrate on the US elections, it's going to be a bit of a bizarre stuff, a bizarre election because you look with the ex-president and the one who is there now is like, wow, what's your choice, right? And but then you look elsewhere. Don't forget that in Europe, for instance, the
Yeah, the
extreme right is
nationalists.
pushing
Yep.
on, you know,
Yep.
is really pushing on.
It's
And
like
I
the
don't know whether that's
30s.
very good for risk either, you know.
It's like the 1930s came in. Same thing was happening.
Yeah, and I don't know actually, and it's so early now. But if I look ahead personally to the end of to throughout the whole year, and for me, it's still going to be very difficult to read at times. And um, if you anticipate stuff, you may end up needing to
Good.
revise your opinion two or three
Yeah.
times along the road. So
Yeah.
it's
We
still going
will.
to be an up and down year, and in that sense, I joined Blake, and I think we are going to trade somewhere in big ranges, and we are going to try to break out one side. Then something's going to happen on the second leg of a pair or something, and then we are going to go back the other side, 180, and I think that's a real possibility in 2024.
I want to put this out for people that are Gann followers and do Gann work. I forgot exactly, it may have been Arnaud. He does Gann. And last year I was asking, he said, no, this year is okay, according to Gann's numbers, but 2024 is going to be a troubling year. So check it out. Check my sources. Don't take it, you know, trade off it, but check it out. Let me know what you find out, because he was a master. I mean, the guy did, to the minute at times predict turns in the wheat market and stuff. So
Wow.
I pay attention to some of Gann's stuff. Most of it's misinterpreted, but he had knowledge above looking at a candlestick.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. Okay, well, Dale, did you have an interview today?
No,
Oh, okay.
I didn't schedule one.
Okay, real quick, I want to show you guys something technically with the euro, just so you guys can see this. This is from earlier in the euro dollar analysis. I want to that was we posted it here on ForexAnalytix. I'll give you guys a little bit of a freebie here. We were sliding through the 38% retracement. We're coming into previous triangle support at 109.50, as noted earlier this morning. And we just hit a low this morning of 51, and we bounced about 10 pips. But I think this is where the euro will, we're gonna regain our footing here intraday. Maybe get us back towards 110, here in North American trade, or later on
as
here.
A sell to you.
Yeah, I would sell the euro on any move up towards 110 today if we can get it. But for those of you that are euro bears, if you've been a euro bear in the European hours, and you might have got short the euro on a breakdown, I think you need to be a little careful here. We're pretty oversold, and like I said, the dollar was recovering from being oversold over the holidays, and so we're probably gonna get some people that are dollar bears going, all right, well, that's enough is enough, let's start selling some dollars up at these levels. But I think you want to buy a dip, but I think that we're going to see some a little bit of dollar selling come in, seep into the market here. And people are probably looking at equities this morning and doing some value shopping. They're like, oh, hey, that's a nice, then a nice little move lower. Let's go ahead and buy some stocks here. So you're probably going to get a little bit of recovery and risk as equities open. Start the year. You always get the people putting money to work first day of the year, right?
January effect.
Yep. January effect. That's right. So a lot of buying probably coming in, first thing in the morning. Whether it sustains, for the next couple of days, we'll see. But I think you have to be aware of that, and therefore the dollar, this rally that you're seeing this morning, probably is or today thus far, probably be sold into. I would say as we go into to today. So anyway, Dimitri said, how do you see the Swiss this year? Kman, you mentioned it a little bit earlier about the Swissy. We actually just completed a Gartley pattern, and then a butterfly pattern on a breakout would take us towards 87. But how do you see the Swiss franc? Because there was a lot of demand of the Swiss going into the end of 2023.
Yeah, a lot. So, and I do think we printed an extreme at the end of last week. And now I don't really know about the Euro Swiss, but I bought some dollar Swiss. Other people are in other currencies versus Swiss to not to be in the dollar. But yeah, I think I look at what happened over 2023, and despite risk on, the Swiss has been strengthening because the S&P was hammering FX and buying Swiss franc. I do think when I look at their inflation, when I look at their economic data as well, that they should stop buying Swiss franc in this year, and in a way as a how should I say, compensation for this kind of move that we had last year. I see some Swiss weakness this year, providing that Swiss franc is not coming back as a major safe haven currency. If the rest of the world is really behaving weak, then I will need to revise my opinion on the Swiss franc. But I would think that at least the first part of this year, Swiss should give back some of its strength that we saw over the last 2 months of 2023.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Swiss franc, and I agree with you, Kman, as far as like, kind of a safety risk off type of trade. You really got to see some serious. It's kind of like when gold, the dollar, and the Swiss franc and the yen, when all of those are all acting as risk off type of currencies, we really have to see some serious risk off for that to really happen. If it's going back to your term that you used earlier, if we're just muddling around, that doesn't really call for it. So you can see some Swiss, weakness as a result, due to other factors, whether it's macro or monetary policy or whatnot. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is we have to see some serious like crap hitting the fan to be Swiss bulls for risk off, right?
Yeah, but one of the things that I also expect is that S&P says, okay, we've sold enough FX, and the FX reserves in the S&P, I mean, it's quite crazy. We're back at 2015 levels, which is not seen in any other central bank around the globe, apart from those who had to defend their currency or so. But I mean, in the majors G10, G11, I mean, nobody killed their reserves like the S&P did, just to try and keep inflation under control. And inflation is well under control over
They're
there.
going to pull the plug again this year?
I'm sorry?
Are they going to pull the plug like they did? Was it in 2015
Oh,
when they did that?
2015. Yeah, but that was the other way around, right?
Oh, okay.
Then
Yeah.
they were supporting Euro Swiss.
I see.
And
Okay.
the guy went for a coffee and the market went all crazy. And now they're the other way around.
Okay.
They bought Swiss franc well, for a year and a half basically. But I think they're close to an end right now, and just my opinion.
Okay.
All
So
right.
they're in a
Well,
long, yeah, they're long. Okay.
yeah. And when central banks are playing in the FX market, you gotta be respectful of it. Yeah.
Especially
I
them.
learned that from the RBNZ, like,
Yeah.
post GFC, they were buying a crap ton
Yeah.
of Kiwis down, in the low levels down here in 2000, right here. No, sorry, I'm on a weekly
Yeah.
chart.
You need pretty deep pockets to fade the bank.
Yeah, they were getting long all sorts of, Kiwis down here. Yeah, so anyway. But hey guys, I want to say, Happy New Year. I know, Dale, you're gonna be wrapping things up. And this week, by the way, the Flow show came in. You guys, because of a holiday today, most of the world's on a holiday. Even though North America's waking up here.
Is it still
Tomorrow
Boxing Day, or could I put my gloves away?
No,
Boxing
no,
Day's
no, no, no.
after Christmas, right?
Oh God,
Yeah,
I've
that
been
was
shadow
last week. That
boxing
was
for a
last week.
week
No,
now.
it's just
Oh,
lazy start day.
Yeah,
No, Ryan is still
I'm
out. Ryan will kick it off again tomorrow. I'll be off tomorrow.
oh God.
Ryan will kick it off again tomorrow.
Ryan harasses us, like he's like, oh, your pre-Christmas
Yeah,
holiday on Thanksgiving, because he always harasses us about
right.
Thanksgiving, where we have a couple of days off. But I think Ryan's been gone for like a month now, so I don't want to hear it from him anymore when he comes back.
Yeah, tell him tomorrow. He'll be happy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
let's
tell him
and
tomorrow. I'm
do it
like, dude,
and
you've been
do it in
gone for like,
public.
I don't know, all of December. So
Yeah, do it publicly like we are now.
right. I'm gonna harass him tomorrow.
All
Anyway,
right.
so guys, the Flow show starts again tomorrow. Even though Kman won't be there, Ryan will be. but you guys will be, slowly getting back into the groove, which will be nice. And I know everybody's waiting to have you guys' analysis in the in the European mornings, and we'll see you back here tomorrow, right, Dale?
Three amigos. I want to thank everyone, and it's a great time to change in the new year, resolutions in the new year. And really, the best advice I could give anyone who's struggling is surround themselves with traders that are good. And we have quite a few here in our community. So
Yeah, and we have our new seasonal offer, Dale, that it's this week only. Yeah, we have a lot of things in store for everyone in 2024. So we wanted to get the discount pricing out early. We usually do it on January 15th or so, but we're doing it this week. So
one good idea pays for your subscription the whole year. Anyway,
right.
So consider that it's a good time to start, and there's discount to boot. And don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And the three amigos, we're amigos, right, guys? We're friends, right? The three amigos say, look forward to doing our best to give you an edge and share ours. And that's a wrap. All right. So see everyone tomorrow for Wicked Wednesday. Thanks, Blake.
Thank
you, Coach.
Okay, I was starting to Jones. I'm glad the holidays are over.
Thanks, Kman.
All right, everyone. Take it easy. We're going to get him this year. Here we go. Zach Prescott calling for.
I love his
You've heard
counts.
that, right?
Yep.
Here
his counts are great.
Yeah, it's for his cadence. He gets people ready. I love it. It's like Peyton Manning's was Omaha.
Yep.
So anyway, all right, that's just the real football here in the U.S. The season's almost over. All right, I'll see everyone tomorrow.